สุขสัพพโรคสัพพภัยสัพพเคราะห์ตัวนอกสัพพเคราะห์ตัวในสัพพเคราะห์สุขสัพพโรคสัพพภัยสัพพเคราะห์
I will be ending this trailer with a few videos from each of the destinations I visited as I traveled Thailand from north to south. Here to start are a few examples of what you will see. On the way, you will pass Wat Nguyen Lan to appreciate the incredible beauty that Buddhism brings to Thailand. So what's behind me is what's left of the old Sukhothai Empire. It's not Angkor Wat, but nevertheless, it's a fascinating sight.
Yeah, I'm Leonard and I'm hitchhiking in Thailand.
You're hitchhiking in Thailand. You're the first hitchhiker I've seen.
Well, yeah, hitchhiking in...
All right, it's scenic. You're viewing Travels with Lobo Asia 2020. This Asia 2020 trip actually started in November 2019 with vlog number 2, China, 144-hour transit visa. Don't do this. The trip continued to Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka. With the completion of Sri Lanka, I'm now up to 74 vlogs, but there is one more part of that trip to go. Welcome to Travels with Lobo, based in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm a retired high school teacher who's been traveling the world for most of my adult life. Your support of this channel with a like and a subscribe would be very much appreciated. Discovering Thailand from the north is the name of my next series of vlogs. Crossing the border at Mae Sai from Myanmar, I travel all the way down to Koh Sumoi and Phuket. Discovering destinations which are on the less beaten path. After all, this is not my first visit to Thailand. In my existing playlist of Thailand, there are 48 videos, so there is some knowledge of Thailand there. Now, I end this trailer with a few clips from each of the destinations that I visited as I traveled Thailand from north to south. Join me next Friday as I start the first of those vlogs that discover Thailand. Remember, a vlog is published every Friday. In my discovery of Thailand from the north, I crossed the border from Myanmar at Mae Sai, then go to the Golden Triangle, followed by Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai, Lamphun, Pai, and Mae Hong Song. Those two are the hidden gems of my trip. Sukhothai, Ayutthaya, Hua Hin, Suratani, Koh Sumoi, Koh Tao, Phuket, and, by the way, from Phuket I flew to Sri Lanka to create my 36 vlog playlist of Sri Lanka. And if I left out Bangkok, there are at least 10 vlogs in the original Thailand playlist. Now let's have a look at those video clips starting from the north. So I cross this bridge and I'm looking back into Myanmar. That's where I came from, Republic of the Union of Myanmar. And I'm headed this way. Right there's a gate into Thailand. I hope to get a visa there. And right there beyond that arch, that triangle of land, right there is a country that Barbara and I just finished visiting. We spent 10 days there in Myanmar. Comes down to that particular point. Mekam over here going up to China, Duruak coming in from Myanmar, and I'm standing in Thailand. You know that from all the gold and the elephants around here. Historical place. Laos over there. Chiang Rai, Thailand's largest northern city. As you go north from here, you pretty well hit Myanmar pretty soon. So I'm surrounded by these golden colors, typical of the royal house of Thailand. The former king of Thailand, the much beloved late king of Thailand, with his son in the background. He is king now. So getting back to this great walk here is the Golden Clock Tower in downtown Chiang Rai. So the canal over there tells me I am in Thailand's second biggest city. That's the canal to my right. Thailand's second biggest city, Chiang Mai. On my way to a hostel. We're going to try hostels this time. Map of charming Chiang Mai, and I'm right at number 1, the Attic Art Studio. I guess I'll follow that blue line down to the river and the Buddha statue. Why not? I haven't seen a Buddha statue in, maybe 2 hours. Traffic is on the wrong side. I'm looking at it from the viewpoint of a North American. It makes it tricky. You always got to remember when you step into the street that traffic is coming from the right, from the right, from the right. You got to keep repeating that to yourself because it's so damn dangerous. In this neighborhood, I find the Sirwan house, typical Thai architecture, surrounded by lush vegetation. So I could have stayed here if I would have known about it. But it couldn't be much cheaper than the $12 I'm paying in the hostel I'm in. But of course it isn't this kind of a surrounding. Just look at this. I'm in Lamphun, about half hour to 40 minutes south of Chiang Mai. Like Chiang Mai, this is an ancient city. It has a moat around it, right over here. What surprises me is this is the evening market, but the so-called night market. But this one is all vegetables. This is definitely what Thais do on the way home. They pick up their supper from the guy on the street who's been cooking all day, and everything goes in these little plastic bags. Definition of insanity. I'm supposed to sit on the back of that and go to the bus station. I can't believe it. I guess it's not that difficult to figure out that by the river is always a prime spot to have tourist places over here. Hotel des Artistes. Oh my God, this reminds me of the Thompson House in Bangkok. Lots of good looking stuff. Look at that. 30 or 40 bahts extra. I paid 300 for the half-day tour. Then they charged 40 more baht to walk across a bamboo bridge. You may have already seen it in my vlogs. This is free. So here in Pai, I had the good fortune to run across a young man who does something unusual. What do you do?
Hello, yeah, I'm Leonard and I'm hitchhiking in Thailand.
You're hitchhiking in Thailand. You're the first hitchhiker I've seen.
Well, yeah, hitchhiking in Thailand is not very common, but the people who just stop and they don't really know what hitchhiking is, so I have like a little letter on my phone which is written in Thai.
I
it
see.
says like I'm traveling with a cheap budget, I don't have enough money to afford a bus. Sometimes I do have money, but I want to meet local people, and sometimes they stop just without even asking because they see someone is walking beside the street.
It's quite a distance from the bus station to downtown in Mae Hong Song. The room is barren, windows, and here are the cubicles, so to speak. In Japan, I stayed in capsule hotels, and here's your capsules right there. And there's my capsule. Are not permitted. Okay. See me gingerly in the darkness, feeling my way along. Wonder why women are not permitted. And I'm headed that way to see the morning over the mountains, or the sun at least come over the mountains. So what's behind me is what's left of the old Sukhothai Empire. It's not Angkor Wat, but nevertheless, it's a fascinating sight, and I'm really enjoying being here. I know I'm getting long on watts. This must be the 50th watt that I've been into, and I always say I'm not going to do any more, but wherever I go I feel compelled to check out its most beautiful watt. Here's a tourist map of Ayutthaya, and you can see the inner part of the city is surrounded by water, so you can take a boat trip around Ayutthaya Island, stop at 3 temples: Wat Prang Sharon, Wat Kutai Sawan, and Wat Shai Tawanauram. And I hope to do those 3 watts on a bicycle. So unexpectedly, I get near the elephants without paying money. I'm on my way to be ripped off in the floating market. All right, it's scenic. But I have to say one thing, that compared to the work that the Egyptians did, or the Mayans, or the Aztecs, I can understand this, because the building material here is basically red bricks. You lay one brick on top of the other, and you end up with a finished product. Another view into the sun. That's where it came from down there. Very nice. So one more time back in Hua Hin. Hua Hin, the place I declared the last time we were here 6 years ago, my favorite place in Thailand. That's the place where I would stay if I was staying in Thailand for an extended period of time. I love walking the back streets of Hua Hin, and these are back streets. This is far from, not far, just a couple of blocks from where all the touristy action is, with the massage parlors and the piles and piles of Swedes. And sometimes I like to dip into the alleyways, like right here. This is fascinating too. So tomorrow I'm going on this snorkeling trip to this wonderful, wonderful site, Koh Namion. And I bought my ticket from this lovely lady here. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year 2020.
Yes. Once again, this is what all the fuss is about. These sandbars that join these islands. Right there. So you get to walk it with me. You get to not pay close to $100 for the day. Thank you for viewing this trailer on my videos that I took during my trip in Thailand, and I'll give you some idea of what will be coming in my weekly vlogs. But again, it illustrates to me in doing this how much of this trip I have forgotten, and how it's not just me, you just forget when you travel. So that is obviously the main reason why I vlog.